Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at inspireddisorder.com/plus.
This is The Ray Taylor Show.
Rayz Dayz, episode 133 of the show, where I recap my week. I talk about things at the end. I'm going to talk about things I'm thankful for, trying to make that a regular weekly thing to add a dose of positivity into an episode that can sometimes be negative. It's so easy to be negative in this world we're living in that is slowly crumbling apart every day, dissenting into fascism day by day. Last week, it was a decent week. I was pretty out of it yesterday. I record these on Sunday. Saturday, I was out of it. I felt like absolute crap yesterday. But was able to get my prep work done and all that, so that was good. Kept thinking it was Halloween yesterday, but it wasn't. It was a week ago as this comes out. But last Sunday, when I record all these episodes, I batch record all 7 episodes on Sunday. So last Sunday, I got done so late. I was done, like usually I'm done recording around 3 or 4 p.m., right? I try to start before noon. Usually takes me 4 or 5 hours to record. Last Sunday, I did not get done editing and uploading everything till 2 a.m. It was like the longest. It has been so long. There's been some weeks when I had my old computer that took a lot longer to edit and also upload. Upload speeds are ridiculously fast now. But when I had my old computer, there were a few Sundays where I was up to like 3 a.m. But it's been a while. Usually midnight is kind of the last. I'm usually done at the latest by midnight. But 2 a.m. last week, it was rough. And usually Mondays, I'm able to kind of have a free day, a lazy day. I don't have to wake up early or anything like that I don't have any responsibilities early in the morning like I do the rest of the week. So I do enjoy Mondays, but, sleeping in is tough. Doesn't always happen. Just despite how much I want, sometimes it's my bladder wakes me up. Sometimes my dog that has her bladders waking me up. So it was kind of tough last Sunday. It was kind of crazy. And this week, the entire week, I had the most difficult time focusing on concentrating on anything. I was so far ahead of all of my movie watching for things last week, and which I have been for weeks, right? The past few weeks, I've gotten ahead and kind of stayed ahead, which helped because there's a lot of Halloween movies I had to watch for tomorrow's episode where I talk about the franchise and I rank my top favorite films in the franchise. I think there's like 13 films or something like that. A lot of movies in addition to the movies I review in general. So, massive issue with my focus. Could not focus, could not pay, like ADD like crazy, which I don't know if I technically have ADD, but I had attention deficit disorder major this past week. Unable to focus on anything, just constantly distracted by my phone, constantly I just completely scatterbrained. So maybe that had something to do. I did kind of feel pretty manic this week too, so maybe that was part of it. My brain racing and just being distracted by things. But that happened. Also, because of my comments on some Instagram posts involving Elon Musk, I've decided now to just add trigger warnings to my show Swipe Up, which is the show that comes out Thursday where I give my opinions on current events. Because a lot of people like to cry in my comments about my opinions. Conservatives, white nationalists, white supremacists, Second Amendment worshipers, that kind of Republican GOP MAGA group of people take quite offense to any opinions I may have and take it upon themselves to verbally attack me in the comments. So because of their fragile nature and their snowflake appearance, just easily melting down at the slightest challenge to their delusional reality, I've decided to implement trigger warnings. I need to start doing more trigger warnings. I need to be more mindful of their feelings. And also, I know it's going to upset them. Right? They don't like to feel, they refer to themselves as alphas, you know. They despite crying and being afraid of every fucking thing under the sun, I'm sure they would just further break down. So in some ways it's me trolling them, knowing that I've done it before when people have on posts clips of this Swipe Up and people just going off about how wrong I am. I will usually apologize and saying that I should have put a trigger warning because I didn't know there were going to be so many fragile snowflakes to be crying in my comments. And they're like, I don't think you know what trigger warnings are. I'm an alpha male. Nothing triggers me, blah, blah, blah. And I think you're wrong. Or like Christian ladies going like, I bet you feel good that you're free to be able to say whatever your opinions are. Right? Like, really, really, like, it's clear that they wish they could damn me straight to hell for having my opinions, right? It's very, very, what is that called? Passive aggressive. So trigger warnings, got to be more mindful of the fragile fascists out there in the world. And I've also, because last week I talked about how I felt October going by fast. There's a lot of horror movies. I watched a horror movie last night that's not part of a top 5 or a review, just because the movie X, which is a new horror film that came out this year. There's a prequel, Pearl. I've heard both are good. Watched X, liked it, a lot of fun. Slasher film, 70s, porn, pretty great. Interesting, great acting, great make, super creepy. I like how it all ties together at the end. A lot of fun. But there's still a bunch of movies. Like, I was kind of planning next week out already yesterday. Early. Usually I do that either tonight or on Monday morning. I'll plan my week. And it's like there's so many movies. Right? There's only Halloween is going to be on Monday. So in a few days after this comes out. And then it's November already. Insane. And there's like not horror movies. They're just regular movies that have come out that were out in theaters that I haven't watched yet. So like there's 2 movies next week. I'm kind of struggling between which ones. There's for Halloween, I think I'm going to do the Foo Fighters did a movie. I forget what it's called. It's like something Studio 666. Looked fun. Figured it would be a fun movie for Halloween. Interesting kind of a premise, horror, music, whatever. I like the band. And then The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is out, available on one of the streaming networks I have access to. So that's one of the movies, not a horror movie. And there's tons of other movies that I haven't seen that I want to see that aren't even horror related. So even though I said I might extend horror through November, I may not do that. But considering generally Wednesday's movie review before October in general is generally the movie review I do of movies in a franchise. So franchises that have less than 5 movies in them. If there's 5 or more, I'll do a top 5 generally and rank them. If it's less than 5, then I will do full reviews for each movie in the franchise, right? So like I've done Rush Hour, I've done the 2 Made in America, not Made in America, the Coming to America, the comedy series. I've done the Blade franchise. I've done the Small Axe short film franchise. I've done a lot of those. And in addition to that, which I didn't even think about until October, where there's a bunch of like horror remakes of movies. And So in addition to franchises, I'm going to do remakes also. So I'm going to be doing I want to watch the remake of Old Boy, since I recently watched the original Park Chan-wook film. I've never seen the remake. I want to see the remake of Suspiria, which is a 70s horror movie I reviewed last week. So there's a ton of remakes I would like to do. Eventually probably do like the Halloween franchise of remakes. I mean, there's tons of them within the horror franchise, but just in movies in general, remakes are, in addition to franchises, remakes and reboots are very common as well. So that Wednesday slot. Let's take a little break from the show to promote. If you sign up for Inspired Disorder Plus for 1 year specifically, you get a free painting. So a year subscription of Inspired Disorder Plus is $50. The painting, the majority of them are $100. So it's a $150 value signing up for 1 year of Inspired Disorder Plus. So not only do you get a free painting, but you also are subscribed to Plus for a year, which means that you can binge this show, The Ray Taylor Show, ad-free, the full week, ad-free, available on Monday. You also get discounts that are members-only pricing type of deals. All of the podcasts that I've produced in the past, close to 20 different podcasts I've produced, hundreds of episodes. There's also my personal blog. You can ask me anything if you want to start podcasting or get into art. All of that stuff available in addition to a free painting when you sign up to 1 year subscription of Inspired Disorder Plus. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus and become an Inspired Disorder Plus member today. And now let's get back to the show. And then Friday have been Indian films, which I might expand that out just because I've gained an audience within the Indian community. They've enjoyed my remakes and are very good at recommending movies for me to watch, and I enjoy all the movies I watch. But I might expand that out into foreign films in general, because there's a lot of Japanese films I want to watch. There's the new Park Chan-wook film I'm excited to watch, which, you know, South Korea has tons of great films, but there's a lot of films from other places that I would love to get into and just kind of have that as the Friday episode. But we'll see how that all shakes out. But I would like to do more themed months, right? October is an easy month for that to be themed in horror, with Halloween. Obviously, December is a no-brainer with holiday movies or Christmas movies. I was thinking February could be like romance films, rom-coms, erotic thrillers. I think anything kind of involving, you know, those types of subgenres in relation to Valentine's Day. And maybe like during the summertime, maybe doing a month of like blockbuster movies. I don't know, but I've been thinking about trying to do, I don't want every month to be a theme, obviously, just because new movies come out all the time, and having a complete theme, like October's great, and I love watching horror movies, but then I'm also avoiding like actual movies I want to watch that just don't happen to be in that genre. So I've thought about doing more themes. So if you have any ideas of a themed month, that would be great. Or at least a themed week. Obviously, it doesn't have to be a full month. I could just do a week of, you know, Valentine love-related movies around Valentine's Day or whatever. Blockbusters around 4th of July, which that's a big release date for blockbusters. But yeah, if you have any recommendations, that would be great. But yeah, other than that, is a good week, despite the fact that Distracted kind of squandered how ahead I got on everything. You know, which maybe my brain needed a break, is like a mental vacation of doing these things. I have like my goal, right? By the time this episode comes out, there's only one more day to the end of October. My goal was to put out a bunch of new merch by the end of October, which I can still do, which I still want to try and do this week, and I could do. So maybe since this past week, it was like a mental vacation in some way. And next week, I'm pretty planned out. I know all the things. I'm going to be doing this Demented for next Sunday. So this Sunday is the Halloween movie franchise. going to do a top 5. Next Sunday is the Guinea Pig series, which, if you're not familiar with that, it's a series of films that are supposed to be the most disgusting films ever made. Like films that depict murder and things like that in a way that seem real, right? Probably similar to Faces of Death in some way. I don't know. I was reading an article looking at the most like controversial horror films. That's how I landed on reviewing House at the End of the, what is that movie called? Last House on the Left. My review for Wednesday this week, the Wes Craven, the original. That movie was on that list. And also Cannibal Holocaust is on that list, which is a movie that I enjoyed and is absolutely disgusting, right? Depicts like human atrocities as if they actually happened. But the message of that movie is profound because of how disgusting. It really shows, Cannibal Holocaust really shines a light on the reality of what imperialism and colonial and like what it's like for white people to go to a land that is populated by indigenous people and seeing the absolute destruction. See what they actually do, right? Rape, pillage, murder, all of the most disgusting things humans are capable of. That's what white people did to indigenous people all over the place. And that is what Cannibal Holocaust depicts, right? Very similar in a lot of ways to zombie movies where the humans are the most dangerous threat, not the zombies, right? These colonizers are the most dangerous threat, not the quote-unquote savages they say that populate. So it was that kind of a list. And Guinea Pig, there's one of the movies that's in the Guinea Pig series, which I had never heard of that series, but it's one of them that depicts this horrible thing. And I was like, well, let's do it. Let's do it. And I found them. They're not like streaming anywhere, but like the Internet Archive has a bunch of them. There's 6 films, and they're not super long films, so that should be an easy top 5 to do. But that will be my like last hurrah for October. Coming out a week after coming out like November 6th or whatever, November 7th. It will be pretty tragic. A pretty tragic end to a month of a little late for the month of October. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I get through it. I don't know. It's weird how I'll get in a mood like watching Harmony Korine movies. Probably a series of films that made me feel disgusting. Similarly, kind of in a way to Rob Zombie films, but even more like Harmony Korine. There's a groundedness. There's a feeling of like you're watching a documentary on some level that you don't obviously get with Rob Zombie, but it has this like, it just makes me feel disgusted for watching it. And I have a feeling that this series is going to be very similar. The effects are going to be very similar. And it was very difficult for me to get through all the Harmony Korine movies. Even though I enjoyed them, it's just like they make me feel bad, right? Like a visceral horror almost, to see how disgusting humans can be. But anyway, that's kind of been my week. That's kind of been where my brain's at with all the distractions and inability to focus. Let's take a little break from the show to promote gift certificates. If you want to purchase artwork for somebody, you have an art lover in your life and you think they would like my art, but you don't know what painting to get them. I have over 2,000 original pieces of art for sale in my store, along with shirts and prints and other things. So I can understand that being a bit daunting if you're trying to buy something for somebody else. Give them the gift certificate, and then they can go to my website, inspireddisorder.com, and they can buy whatever paintings they want. They can buy whatever prints they want. They can buy t-shirts. They can buy hats. They can buy all the different merch, gift certificates, which are available currently at inspireddisorder.com. And now let's get back to the show. So let's end it with some positive stuff. Let's end it with what I'm thankful for this week. And I was thinking about it. I talked about it a few times in previous episodes this week. about the Peacock service that I signed up for. There was a deal going around online, $20 for the year. It's the ad-based, ad-supported plan, so it's a lot cheaper than the premium plan. But the reason why I felt $20 a year. I love Parks and Rec. I haven't seen that since before it left Netflix. Same with The Office, two shows I absolutely love. Great kind of like background shows to just kind of have on. And I've already like rewatched Seinfeld a billion times. I've rewatched Impractical Jokers a billion times in the background. South Park. So it's like I needed something more to add to that rotation of like background entertainment. So $20 for the year, plus they have movies that come out. And on top of that, even though it's ad-based, for the movies, all of the ads play before the movie starts. So I'm going to watch a movie like I watched Halloween Ends, reviewed that on Monday. It's on Peacock. There's like 2 minutes of ads, 3 minutes of ads, whatever it is. Hit play, make my popcorn, get some lemonade, whatever, get my stuff ready. And then by the time the movie starts, there's no breaks. There's no ad breaks. Love it. And then for TV shows, it's normal ad breaks, I'm fine. It's like background entertainment anyway, so I'm not paying attention. Ads just play, whatever. So I'm thankful to be living in a time where everything is on demand. Music, right? Chili Peppers, 2 new albums this year. I do kind of, when I can afford it, collect vinyl. Right? If anybody wants to buy me the new Chili Pepper album on vinyl, I can't justify spending $30 on it right now. But I can listen to it. You know, I have Apple Music through a bundled service through Apple for like my cloud storage and all that kind of stuff. So I get Apple Music and Apple TV with all of the different streaming platforms. I have access instantly to a library of movies that is like exponentially larger than the library of movies I had when I was addicted to buying DVDs. So having the technology that we do now with streaming music and movies and everything on demand, I am so thankful, right? To have these services, especially the past few years with the pandemic, with not having money to afford going out to movies. Like if this were in the 90s, I would have to pay to go see a movie in the theater or go wait like months for them to come out on VHS and then go to Blockbuster. I would just be renting movies at Blockbuster all the time, which is not cheap. It wasn't cheap to rent. I forget how much it was, like $5 for a new release, $1 for an old one. So maybe it wouldn't be that much, but still, say $20 a month for Peacock, right? I would easily spend more than that if I was doing this show and I had to watch. Let's say on average, I watch 10 movies a week, right? 3 movie reviews, and then I do a top 5. So that's at least 8 movies, right? But generally, a franchise of films will have more. Obviously, Tuesday I do an episode of a show, so I would have to watch it when it's broadcast and take notes, maybe record it on a VHS tape. Like producing this show would be so much more difficult. I wouldn't be able to do this show. It would be so difficult. But I'd be spending easily $20 a week at a Blockbuster, a video rental store. But I'd be in there so much. Even though I did enjoy going to those places, I worked at a Blockbuster for a while, there was an aspect to browsing the aisles of movies and looking at the pictures, the box art, and being inspired to watch a movie based on the box art. Right now, I'm just cycling through the box art on, which is okay, but most of the time I know what I'm going to watch. Or I'll just spend all night browsing and never actually choosing anything. Just like, I'll just watch The Office or whatever. So I'm thankful to be living in an age with on-demand access to music and movies in a way that would have been mind-blowing growing up. I'm thankful for that. So technology, hip hip hooray. But yeah, that is what I'm thankful for. Hey, let me know what you're thankful for. Hit me up in the comments. I'd love to hear it. But that's been my week. I hope you've had a great week. Until next week, take care.
New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at inspireddisorder.com/plus. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.